welcome everybody. Thank you for clicking on this video and welcome to the Voices of Reason 2019 NFL Mock Draft. Everybody at the VOR podcast was assigned a division and they made all of the picks for each team in that division. Coming up soon, you're going to see a list of everybody that you need to be upset with after this video is over. And with the first overall pick, we're going to hand it over to Nick, and he's going to take Kyler Murray, quarterback Oklahoma for the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, we are calling Cliff Kingsbury's bluff, and we are assigning him the quarterback. And where there's smoke, there's fire. We obviously believe that this is going to be the first overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. Moving on to the second overall pick, we have Nick Bosa going to the San Francisco 49ers, edge rusher out of Ohio State. As you can tell, Nick had the NFC West, so he is in control of these teams, so he had the first two picks on the board, and it's hard to argue against Nick Bosa. Everybody believes he's going to be the next edge rusher for the 49ers, moving Solomon Thomas inside. With the number 3 overall pick, we have Brian Satina taking the New York Jets, and he has selected Josh Allen, the edge rusher of Kentucky, which makes a lot of sense because the team missed out on Anthony Barr, who was with the team for about 10 minutes before re-signing with Minnesota. So he'll be the new edge rusher for the New York Jets defense, and defensive coordinator Greg Williams, who we all know and love. With the 4th overall pick, you have yours truly selecting for the Oakland Raiders, and I've decided to go with Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. He's the number 1 player on my board, so it was really hard to pass up on him. I could have went a lot of different ways, but I decided not to do anything crazy and just went with the best player available. Hopefully John Gruden will do that as well. And moving on, we have the 5th overall selection going to Brent, and he's in control of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he just decided to go with Montez Sweat, the edge rusher from Mississippi State. Very good pick. Didn't have a great combine, but he's got really good tape. He's a very exciting player, and I think he'll fit very nicely into that new 3-4 defense that they're going to have in Tampa Bay. Alright, now get ready because this is where it gets crazy. We've got our first trade of the draft, and we have Seattle Seahawks moving all the way up to the 6th pick in the draft. They're going to swap picks with the New York Giants, send Russell Wilson to the New York Giants, and they're going to draft none other than Drew Lock, the quarterback from Missouri. Obviously, we made this mock draft before Russell Wilson restructured and signed with Seattle, but at the time of the thinking, we didn't think that was going to happen, and we thought maybe he would end up in New York, and that's what Nick wanted to do, so he sent a lot of stuff up, and he got Drew Lock. And that's how it rolled. With the number 7 overall pick, we have Ryan controlling Jacksonville, and he has selected Jawan Taylor. Not the sexiest pick, but it probably is the safest pick, and they need to do something to make sure that they protect their investment. That is Nick Foles for the upcoming season, because without Nick Foles, the season is basically over. So smart pick, not the most sexy one, but it works. And right after that, we have our second trade. Yours truly has taken the Denver Broncos and traded up with John Moffitt, who is controlling the Detroit Lions. And with the 8th overall selection, I've decided to use those assets to move up and draft Ed Oliver, defensive tackle from Houston. My thinking was Vic Fangio's coming in, the new defensive coach for the Broncos, and he's going to want to solidify his front 7 as strong as possible with Von Miller. He had Bradley Chubb already, and now he's got Ed Oliver, premier defensive tackle who could wind up being another Aaron Donald. Alright, moving along. With the 9th overall pick, we have Brian coming back with the Buffalo Bills, and he's decided to take Christian Wilkins, a very nice pick. Helps replace the absence of Kyle Matthews up front with the now vacant defensive tackle slot. Could have went a lot of different ways, but I think Christian Wilkins is a very nice pick for the Buffalo Bills here at number 9. And coming in with the number 10 selection, John decides to take Rashawn Gary, the player that he wanted all along, who he would have drafted at number 8 had I not come up with a trade offer. Rashawn Gary solves the other side of the defensive line at the edge position after signing Trey Flowers. So this is a very good pick. Probably could move inside, play defensive tackle as well. With the number 11 overall pick, Sam Marhulik has decided to take the Cincinnati Bengals, and their quarterback of the future is Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State. Andy Dalton is basically Andy Dalton, and at this point you're not going to get much more or less out of him. So it's time to think about the future, and Dwayne Haskins appears to be it. He's staying in Ohio. And just like that, we have our 3rd trade of the draft. Look out, because Indianapolis is about to make a splash. Ryan has sent a ton of stuff to move up with the full intent of drafting none other than DK Metcalf to get another weapon for Andrew Luck. Now he's got Devin Funchess, T.Y. Hilton, a resurrected Eric Ebron, and add DK Metcalf to the list, and this is figuring to be a prolific passing attack out of Indianapolis. Alright, moving on. With the next pick in the 2019 mock draft, we have Brian going with another safe pick. He's got Jonah Williams, the offensive tackle from Alabama, going to the Miami Dolphins. This is probably a smart pick if they don't trade down. They seem to be in full tank mode as they look for the quarterback of the future next year, probably looking to get Tua. All right, moving on, we have our next selection coming from Brent. He's got the Atlanta Falcons. He's decided to take Brian Burns, the edge rusher from Florida State. Definitely a great player, should be going in the top 10. So to get him here at number 14 is probably going to be a little bit of a steal. All right, with the next pick in the 2019 mock draft, for the Voices of Reason, we have Sam coming back with the Washington Redskins, and he's going to select Daniel Jones, the quarterback out of Duke. Didn't have to trade up, didn't have to trade down, just let the board fall to him, and he's going to get Daniel Jones to sit behind Case Keenum for 1 year. Alex Smith's career is probably over, so this is a smart pick. All right, moving on to the number 16 overall pick, we have Andre Dillard, the offensive tackle from Washington State, going to Carolina thanks to Brent Steyer. And that is probably a smart pick because Cam Newton is very hurt and he's probably going to miss some games this year. Time will tell, but definitely the best pass protecting offensive tackle in this draft, going to Carolina. With the next selection, we have number 17, Devin White. This is an absolute steal. Devin White falls to the New York Giants at the number 17 overall selection. One of the best linebackers in this draft, if not the best. Sideline to sideline speed. Very great player. Very excited to see him at the next level. Sam gets an absolute monster at 17 overall. And with the next pick, we have John coming in with Minnesota Vikings, making the smart choice and getting new interior offensive lineman Garrett Bradbury from NC State. This is definitely what the Vikings need. As a Vikings fan myself, I can attest that this is a great pick. Probably could have traded down and got him later, but get your guy now and let it be done. All right, moving on. We have another trade as Josh Rosen is being unloaded by the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals managed to get back into the first round, sending Josh Rosen away, and they grab I almost said Kyler Murray again. They grab N'Keal Harry, the wide receiver from Arizona State. I'm doing this in one take, no edits. So the Arizona Cardinals get N'Keal Harry. I absolutely love this receiver. That's a smart pick by Nick. Good job trading back in and getting a first for Josh Rosen, something that we didn't think would be possible. All right, and just like that, we have another trade on our hands. That's right, there's no stops on the trade wagon, and this one's kind of interesting because this is a trade that you probably wouldn't see coming. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to trade out of the number 20 pick to the Green Bay Packers, and John has decided to get TJ Hawkinson to catch passes from Aaron Rodgers. Definitely one of the better tight ends in the draft. He's a jack of all trades, great blocking tight end, great pass catching tight end. So, interesting trade, great choice, great pick, love the fit. All right, moving on, we have the New York Giants using the pick that they got from Seattle to take DeAndre Baker, the defensive back from Georgia. So they get Devin White and they get DeAndre Baker. Very two solid defensive players for their draft. Giants fans, you're probably sitting pretty happy. You also got Russell Wilson, so that's nothing to boot too. All right, moving on with the next pick at number 22, we have A.J. Brown going to the Baltimore Ravens. Sam believes that Lamar Jackson needs better targets out there in Baltimore, and I kind of agree with him. We have to get the passing attack going, even though it's probably going to be a gimmicky run team. So for A.J. Brown, who was the volume guy at Ole Miss, he's going to find a new home in Baltimore. All right, moving on to the number 23 pick, we have Ryan back with the Houston Texans, and he's going to take Yannick Ajuste, the offensive tackle from West Virginia. Almost said Western Virginia. Very solid offensive tackle. Probably could have gotten him a little bit later, but he's one of the better ones, more of the higher graded ones in this draft. So definitely needed in Houston to protect Deshaun Watson. All right, moving on to the number 24 pick, we have Byron Murphy, the defensive back from Washington. He's going to the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders now have Byron Murphy and Quinnen Williams. That's a very good haul for not trading or moving around. Definitely could use him to play opposite Garyon Conley. Coming up next, we have Devin Bush going to the Philadelphia Eagles with the number 25 overall pick. This is another surprising fall in the draft. A lot of people think Devin Bush could go a lot higher. And he doesn't necessarily fit a need for Philadelphia, but with this kind of talent still on the board, I don't blame Sam for pulling the trigger whatsoever. Devin Bush is a great player. All right, moving on to the number 26 overall pick, we have Greedy Williams, surprisingly the third defensive back to come off the board in this draft, and he's going to Pittsburgh, where he is desperately going to be needed to replace Sensabaugh and Joe Hayden and just give that secondary a real kick in the butt because it needs it, God knows. With the number 27 overall pick, I'm coming back with the Oakland Raiders, and I've decided to take Clelin Ferrell, the edge rusher from Clemson. Had a feeling that one of these guys was going to fall to me and I didn't need to make a trade up or do anything crazy to get one, so very happy to walk away with the haul that I've gotten in the first round for the Oakland Raiders. Hope John Gruden enjoys all of his new defensive players. And with the 28th overall pick, we have the Los Angeles Chargers selecting Cody Ford, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. He comes in at number 28 overall. Decided to play it safe and really just get something to protect Phillip Rivers in the end of his career so they can make another playoff run. All right, with the number 29 overall pick, I've got my favorite pick of the day. That's Darnell Savage, the safety from Maryland, going to Kansas City to help that absolutely depleted secondary and defense overall. Still don't know who's going to be rushing the passer in Kansas City, but at least you have a center fielder out there for you in the secondary who will make some hard hits. All right, coming in at number 30, we have the second Iowa tight end of the day. Noah Fant is going to Pittsburgh, thanks in large part to Sam's maneuvering with the Pittsburgh Steelers draft picks, getting into the first round again, taking part of the Green Bay Packers trade capital away to get their new tight end to play alongside Vance McDonald. With the 31st overall pick, we have Dexter Lawrence from the Clemson defensive tackle. He's going to be going to the Los Angeles Rams, courtesy of general manager Nick, and he decided to play the waiting game to see what defensive player would fall to him, and one of the good ones has fallen to him. Very good strategy, didn't have to move to get him. All right, and to close out the first round of this 2019 Voices of Reason podcast NFL mock draft, we have yours truly taking the Denver Broncos and making a rather silly trade to get back into the first round, and I'm going to take Justin Lane, the defensive back from Michigan State. John Elway should obviously fire me for the moves that I've made for the Denver Broncos, and I'm really sorry, Broncos fans. I have let you all down, but I still really like Justin Lane. I think he's going to be a great defensive back at the next level, but I probably didn't have to get him this early. All right, well, that's going to do it for the Voices of Reason 2019 NFL Mock Draft. Don't forget to check out our podcast and visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/VOR Sports. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, favorite, and like the video. Any little thing you can do will help us out.